Welcome to Unit 4.4. We're going to talk about visualizing an outcome. I'm Diana Lindsay. This is Tandy Beal. She's a wonderful dancer and choreographer, and I had the great joy of being a colleague of hers when I was in my 20s. She was preparing for a solo show, just Tandy dancing for 2 hours, when she sprained her ankle and couldn't move. In fact, was told by her doctor to keep her foot elevated until just 2 weeks before her concert. How on earth was she going to be in shape, and how was she going to remember all of the choreography that she'd done? Well, she lay on the couch and she just went over and over in her mind, rehearsing and practicing her show. And when it was time for her to be able to stand up, she found that she was in shape and that she'd remembered it. This left a lasting impression on me, which saved my life when I got cancer. In the 80s, a man named Carl Simonton, medical director of the Simonton Cancer Center, wrote a book called Getting Well Again. He was an early pioneer in mind-body medicine because he found that in patients who did not do as well as he expected, that often it was despair and hopelessness. The despair and hopelessness, he believed, came from a lack of imagination on their part that life could ever be better, that the disease could ever run a better course. And so he tried experimenting with what he called using continuous natural imagination in healthy ways that promote getting well. And he asked his patients to imagine them being well. He got good results, and his work became very popular and was well publicized in the 80s. As a result, the American Medical Association came after him, and his work was discredited. It was later reinstated. What he had to say has been proven by many other studies. The idea of mental practice moved out of the realm of cancer into the realm of sports and everyday life. One study is on darts. William Straub had 3 groups: a control group who didn't practice throwing darts, a group who did what you would expect, they threw darts daily, and one who threw darts and practiced throwing darts mentally through imagery, by relaxing their body, by just experimenting with their bodies and arm gestures. What they found is that those that threw darts daily got a 67-point gain, but the ones who included mental practice had up to a 165-point gain. Now, this has correlated into many different sports events. One tested trampoliners. They took novice and experienced trampolinists, and they divided them into those they felt were high and low imaginers. And what they found, correlating for all of those different variables, was that those who could have a high sense of imagery around their trampolining showed considerable improvement. Internal imagery, doing it in your mind, has been shown to be more effective than watching it, say on a video. This was proven with skiers. There have since been studies done with teaching piano. Imagery, of course, is the foundation of many childbirth techniques. And it's also been shown in something called phantom limb pain. Veterans who returned and lost limbs in the wars nevertheless still experienced tremendous pain in their phantom limb. What they found was that by using a mirror, the brain could be tricked into believing that the amputated arm could be a healthy arm. In the process, they could lose the brain cells and the neurons that had wired together, as we learned last time, for pain, and rewire them to be pain-free. There was a study done at Stanford, which was particularly pivotal to me. They put people who had had chronic pain for at least 10 years in an MRI machine. and they asked them to look at a picture of their brain against and compare it against a picture of a pain-free brain. And they told them to make their brain look like that. Now just think of that. You've had pain for 10 years and someone puts you in a machine and tells you to just make your brain look like that? Well, they could do it. And they found that when they did, that their pain lessened. Then they asked the people whether or not they could do that without the expensive fMRI machine. And they found that they could. So here were some mental interventions that people did for pain. One was to shift attention from the area of the pain to some part of the body furthest away. So I did that with my own recovery from surgery by taking the pain in my lung and taking it down to my toe. Concentrate on something pleasant. Relax using the deep breathing and meditation techniques we've just been talking about. Recalibrate the level of pain, imagining it as harmless, as less strong. This is exactly what they did in Harry Potter, so go there for some tips. And visualize soothing or healing processes at work. These findings show that individuals can gain voluntary control over activation in a specific brain region given appropriate training, and that voluntary control over activation in the anterior cingulate leads to control over pain perception, and that these effects were powerful enough to impact severe chronic clinical pain. So take some time to mentally practice something that you'd like to achieve and visualize yourself succeeding at this task. And we hope you'll do well.